start today by asking you a few questions. Number one, do you ever find it difficult to focus? Does your mind ever feel cluttered? And do you feel like sometimes something is holding you back, but you really can't put your finger on it? Well, that happens to us all. But I would like to suggest to you that maybe, just maybe, what if the problem is clutter? And I know you may be saying, what does clutter have to do with business success? More than what you may think. Welcome to this segment of Business Tip Tuesday. My name is Janice, and let's dive right into this matter. Sometimes the problem is not your ability. Sometimes the problem isn't bigger, some unknown, mysterious reason. Sometimes the problem is right before us and it's simply cluttered. A cluttered environment, a cluttered internal landscape. And it's not just a cluttered desk. It can be a cluttered schedule, a cluttered inbox, a cluttered calendar, a cluttered mind, a cluttered office, yes, a cluttered car, a cluttered home. Anything that competes for your attention from your assignment can be cluttered. It's simply clutter. Anything that causes friction between you and your assignment is clutter. And if we don't deal with it, no matter what type of clutter it is, it does propose a hindrance to us walking through our assignment. Today's business tip is very simple, and I want to give it to you in just one rememberable sentence or phrase. And it is, clear the clutter and increase your capacity. Clear the clutter and increase your capacity. I would like to start with this brief story, a true story about my own life. Well, when I got to Nashville, the Lord had already started dealing with me about decluttering my life. And that's a book within itself. But one of the things in the first home that we entered into in Nashville, the first thing I heard him, we had already been here for 2 months or more, and the first thing I heard was no junk drawers and no junk closets. And I thought, no junk drawers and no junk closets. Now, I didn't know what he was after then, but on the other side, here where I am now, I clearly understand now what he was getting at. For those of you that know my testimony, you know that my life was messy. Oh, back in South Carolina, I lived years of messiness. And my external environment was messy because my internal was messy. So when God promotes us and takes us from one to the next into our brand new lives, and old things are passed away, and behold, all things are new, we grow in capacity and we grow in requirements to hold our new capacities. And that leads us into assignments and promotions by God, where God has chosen to give you and I an assignment. So when we talk about decluttering, we're talking about simply clearing the things that compete for our attention away from the assignment. And so this episode, I want to present you with some practical tips about where you need to declutter, or places where you need to consider decluttering. First, let's talk about your workspace. Whether that workspace is in an office building, some of us work from home. No matter where you're working, consider your workspace. And the reason why you want to do this is because more oftentimes than not, that's the space where creativity happens. That's the place where ideas and witty inventions are downloaded. That's the place where you're making critical decisions. That's the place where you may be writing. That's the place where you may be coming up with strategies and strategic plans. That's the place where you're filling out business license applications, and that's the place where you're developing your nonprofits and your corporations. That's the place where you're preparing for your next promotion and you're building an excellent spirit. We want to start there because if those places are cluttered, and I'm speaking from experience, if those places are cluttered, it will block, hinder the flow of your creativity. It will block and hinder the decisions that you have to make. It will block and hinder those downloads of witty inventions. It will block and hinder those necessary tasks that you have to do as part of the administration of your business. You will lose all of the tenacity that you need to complete necessary tasks when you're dealing with a cluttered environment. And sometimes it means to clean. Sometimes it means just to get rid of some things, declutter, throw away some things, organize some things. At your desk, you want to make sure that your desk is organized. Your drawer, your desk drawer, clean it up, organize it. And as you do, you are going to find that there's a mental decluttering that happens. So, and there's a heart decluttering, emotional decluttering that happens. Why? Because you're clearing the way and you're making room for your assignment. And I want you to remember this. Promotion does not come if you're not ready for the promotion. An excellent spirit is built before the promotion. And when the promotion comes, you step into it. And you're not scrambling trying to build an excellent spirit. Why? Because you already have an excellent spirit. So when I took over the first office, because God had already worked with me on that excellent spirit, and I had made enough traction to where an excellent spirit determined my next action. So when I got there, no one asked me to organize the office and bring it up to standards, and no one expected me to. So what determined the action? The excellent spirit that positioned me for the promotion in the first place. So when we build the excellent spirit, it requires the action. Nobody has to ask you. Nobody has to expect it of you. No one has to demand it of you. It is an excellent spirit that's built because God is excellent in you and He requires it. And we surrender. I would like to leave you with this scripture, Daniel chapter 6 and verse 3. And I'm reading from the King James Version, and it reads, "Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and the princes, because an excellent spirit was in him." Note, Daniel's promotion followed his excellent spirit. He didn't get promoted because he had a mediocre spirit and then stepped into the opportunity and had to scramble to create an excellent spirit and become something he wasn't. Become something that he was not prepared to become at that time. He was promoted because of the excellent spirit, right? And that excellent spirit over here promotes you long before anybody over here gives you a title. I'm going to say that again. Building your excellent spirit here promotes you long before anybody else gives you a title. You are before they say you are. And that comes from building an excellent spirit now and becoming now. Because what you become, that's what shows up. The next scripture I'd like to leave with you is Colossians 3 and 23. And it reminds us, "And whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men." Everything we do matters. The what matters, but also the how. So I want to leave you with an encouragement to build your excellent spirit now. And one practical way to do that is to just simply clean up. And that is your action step for this week. Look at your environment, look at your surroundings, and clean it up. Declutter, throw away, get rid of, put away, establish new. Whatever you have to do, create the space where creativity is not hindered, but it can flow as God created for it to flow. That your ideas from the kingdom will not be hindered. And that the internal becoming is able to flow as it should and develop on the inside of you. As we build these disciplines, when no one else is looking, where no one else can see, these are the things that matter to God. And these are the things that position us for promotion, and it's the lead road to success. Well, thank you for joining me this week, Business Tip Tuesday, and I'll see you next time.